All right, well, hello, and welcome everyone to our Bg5 Live. Today is Tuesday, February 22nd, so it's 22. I did it in the European way, so we have 220202 in 2022. So it's 322s. Not only that, we have episode 144. So we have double 44. And we're going to take a look at trait 55 and quality 5. So we have a lot of repeating numbers today. So again, happy Tuesday. Happy 22nd of February in 2022. Great to have you all here today. Before we get started, let's say hello to our panel. So let's start with Linda. Hello, Linda. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
Great to have you here. Welcome, welcome. And Shelley.
Yes, it's a fabulous Tuesday today. Happy to be here too and look at our abundance of spirit today in doubles.
Yay! And Moxie says hello. So say yeah. Yeah. So Moxie's here as well. As soon as I started, she jumped up on my desk. So great. Well, welcome. Great to have all of you here today. And today we are going to be taking a look at the abundance of spirit. So that's what we're going to take a look at to wrap up February. So as we've been looking through and exploring February, can you already believe we're at the end of February? We have been really focused on emotional awareness. All of the traits, except for one that we've been looking at, are all in emotional intelligence. So February is the emotional awareness to listen to what is needed socially and to surrender to the fates while standing by our principles, being true to our spirit. And then ultimately next week, it is about connecting with those that we love. So we took a look at social needs. We took a look at the listener. We took a look at principles. Last week, we took a look at the fates. And today, it's all about spirit. It's about abundance. And it's about the quality of spirit in the emotional now. We are in trait 55 in quality 5. So this week we'll also be shifting into friendship and family in the 37, but we'll cover that next week because that is what is going to start off our March. So next week we'll start off March with family and friendship in the 37. All right, so let's take a look at what this abundance of spirit is all about. And what's interesting with the abundance of spirit, if we take a look at what grounds it is the 59. The 59 is about intimacy, is about connection, is about union. So really connecting through spirit in a very deep way. And this is part of also the upcoming shift that we're moving into as we move into the era of the individual. Both the 55 and the 59 are also part of the background frequency that we're moving into as well. So let's take a look at today's theme. Is the cup half empty? Is the cup half full? So what we're taking a look at is abundance, and it's the quality of spirit. And the quality of spirit is in the emotional now. Right? So the emotional now really determines what our quality of spirit is all about. And one of the things about abundance, right, where we talk about career, we talk about business, we talk about the profit potential here at Bg5, that's all a part of abundance. And ultimately, abundance is strictly a question of spirit. So it really is taking a look at, is the cup half full or is the cup half empty? But actually seeing beyond it being full or being empty, at any given point, spirit is not a matter of comparison. Is it full or is it empty? But just the wonder that the cup or life exists at all. I really love this because it really talks a lot about what we take a look at in Bg5. One of the very first classes we take a look at in the foundation course is taking a look at the binary and the synthesis. right? So the binary is the half empty or half full. The synthesis is the wonder that the cup or life even exists at all, right? And so when we take a look at spirit, it's taking a look at what is the quality of our emotions in the now. That's what gives us our abundance. And the biggest fear is emotional emptiness, right? The cup being half empty, or the lack of passion in your work or in your life. And you can be passionate or melancholic, artistic or romantic. This is a very romantic trait. It's a very creative trait. It's individual. And it can also be very melancholic as well. So it's important that you honor your moods, right? So in having, especially if you do have trait 55, really paying attention when you're in the mood and when you're not in the mood. So it's important to honor your moods, as this is how you tap into your creative potential. And your most creative time will actually be during the times that you're the most melancholic. And melancholy can show up as sadness, as depression, as kind of being detached a little bit, right? But when you really tap into that, as opposed to trying to get rid of it, right? Oftentimes, if we feel sad, we feel depressed, we want to do something to get rid of that feeling, instead of trying to get rid of it, or instead of trying to explain it. Well, I'm feeling sad because of this or that or the other thing. Instead of trying to explain it away, just allow it to be. And that allows you to tap into the creativity that's there behind the moods, within the spirit, within the abundance, within the emotions. So this is what trait 55 is all about. So I would love to hear from Melinda and Shelley, and of course, any of you that are here live in our Zoom room, or if you're watching live via Facebook, we would love to hear from you as well, especially if you do have trait 55 or you know of someone who has trait 55. We would love to hear your experience as well. So let's start with Linda.
Yeah, well, I have the other side. I have 39. And yeah, I love this trait because I really feel it's really spiritual. It's really connecting, it's individual, it's connecting us with our true spirit. And what I feel like this is all about experiencing life and accept in the now that what is there is there. And that being alive, being in the now moment, experiencing everything, that you can accept kind of that your spirit will be teased out in a way through life, but that it really, yeah, it has its swings, it has its wave. Life is not a straight path. And with my trait 39, I can envy people that are really in contact with their moods, with their emotions. I sometimes feel like, oh, I'm not that romantic, or I'm not that passionate. And sometimes I really would like to feel like, oh yeah, because emotions also make you feel alive. And when you are in a really melancholic mood, I also love the music that comes forward out of melancholy, because the most beautiful music is when people are really depressed, I feel like. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like this trait teaches us to embrace life to the fullest, because it teases out our true spirit, and it lets us experience life in such a deep and profound way. And yeah, it's wonderful. So this is my take on it.
I love that. I love that. And it's true, it's connected to emotional intelligence. It's connected to the wave. And so sometimes it's half full. Sometimes it's half empty. Sometimes the wave is up. Sometimes the wave is down. And one of the things, I do have the 55 in my design, enjoying those ups and downs. Even when I get really angry or really depressed or whatever the motion happens to be, that fascination of being able to observe it and to feel it and to be with it, as opposed to trying to write it off or explain it away or trying to cover it up, whatever that happens to be. So even in those deepest, darkest times, kind of enjoying, I know it sounds weird, but enjoying being in those dark times as well, because it's part of what life is all about. Life is about these ups and downs. And we think that the ups are good and the downs are bad, but both are necessary. It's that synthesis of both the ups and downs that really creates what our life is all about. Yeah, beautifully said, Linda. How about for you, Shelley?
Yeah, just sort of adding on to what you've both said already, that our emotional intelligence is a new awareness function that we're all starting to learn more about, how to express our emotions or how to just allow our emotions to be there. Because as you mentioned, Karen, we've been trained or taught to believe that the ones that feel good are good and the ones that feel bad are bad, but it's not like that at all. There's some feel ecstatic and others just feel uncomfortable, and it's about us finding language to describe what we're feeling, because that's sort of where we've not really been taught what words to use to describe our emotions. And that's what we're all learning to do as this center becomes more of an awareness function. So I have the 39 like Linda, and definitely have I have my emotional intelligence defined. And so I have a couple of other traits, and I'm used to and have lived a life of experiencing all the ups and downs. And in the beginning, they were really terrible or really great. And over time, recognizing that they all just are, they just exist. We're riding that roller coaster, and allowing ourselves to just be aware of what we're feeling without creating a story behind it, without trying to attach something to it, allows them emotion to kind of pass through us in a much more easeful way. I'm really starting to just notice what I'm feeling and go, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I'm feeling a little this or a little that right now. Interesting. And that's about as far as it goes. I'll ride the emotion out, but honestly, the minute you pay attention to it, it's kind of like it dissipates. I sort of feel like in my lifetime, what I've done and what I've seen a lot of people do is that, like, we know the waves build, and it builds and builds and builds, and it gets really intense, either really high or really low, really intense. And it's like we can't take the intensity anymore, so we stop it and we try to hang on to it, or we try to make sense out of it, or we try to figure out why it's happening, and we get all caught up at that peak, and we can hang on to that peak emotion for years. It can just stay in our body. Where what I learned to do over the last few years was to just recognize that that peak might be really uncomfortable, but if you give it another few seconds, it's heading down the other side or coming up again, and it'll pass through you. And not to be afraid of it when it feels that intense, to just allow it to keep going and flow the wave through you, as opposed to trying to hang on or control it in some way. So that was a really big learning I've learned through Bg5 and through other emotional intelligence kind of training as well. But I see a lot of people and kids, our grandkids, being taught words for their emotions now, so they can express what they're feeling and not get stuck in it, not get stuck at the peak. Watching young parents being so patient and allowing kids to just feel the feeling all the way through till it dissipates. I think that training is going to help everybody in the future. So it's really building awareness for our emotions here, I think.
Yes. Oh, beautifully shared, Shelley. I really Love that. And again, the analogy of water with the half full or half empty, right? Oftentimes emotions are associated with water, and allowing the emotions to flow and allowing things to happen over time. Emotional intelligence, it's, 50% of the planet, a little bit more, has this as part of their decision-making strategy. And if it's your decision-making strategy, you make decisions over time, right? So one of the things about this trait is things change over time, and there's ups and downs. And so it's allowing yourself that time to be able to feel. And just like what Shelley said, allowing that time for to get out of the peak, right? And into what's next. So really beautifully said. Thank you so much, Shelley. I'm wondering if
Would like
there's,
to-
yeah, go ahead, Linda. And if there's anyone else that is here with us live, we would love to hear from you as well. Yes, Linda.
Yeah. Yeah, while you were both talking, I was just really feeling and sensing that it's literally allowing life to happen.
Mm,
That's spirit. And it teases out our true spirit, what we are here for. And it also, I feel like it going through moods, going through the ups and downs of life, if you take a look at it like a metaphor, like in a hero's journey. I feel that our life and everything that unfolds in our life, it teases out our true spirit.
mm,
And then it teases out if we feel things are half full or maybe half empty, and it will learn the lessons. And I really want to echo what Shelley said, because our society, it wants to get us happy. When you are depressed, you take a pill, and then you feel happy again, and you dumb everything down. But then you also dumb your spirit down and your true being, your true authenticity. So I feel like this is such an important trait. There is a lesson to be learned, and that's experiencing life in all its ups and its downs. And then at the end, to notice over time that life is wonderful and that things happen at the right exact timing. So.
So beautifully said, Linda. And sometimes we can't appreciate the ups when we don't have the downs, right? So sometimes those downs, that depth is often necessary. That melancholy is necessary to have the contrast of what's on the other side, so that you can fully appreciate what's on the other side as well. And I love what you said, Linda, too. This is part of the hero's journey. And this is, if everything is always great and wonderful, we don't experience all of what life is about. And exactly what you said, Linda, as far as life teasing out our spirit, because sometimes we can't even get in touch with the spirit unless we get into those down times. Sometimes, when bad things happen, that's when we really find out what our true spirit is and how do we stand up to it. It can be sort of that spiritual warrior of how do we face adversity, and how do we stand up for, we were talking about this earlier in the whole theme of what February was all about. How do we stand up for our principles, and if we do or if we don't, how does that affect us, and how does that affect our spirit or not? Yeah, really, really powerful. Yeah, and on the other side, if we take a look at, so again, I actually have it in my judge and discipline. So again, I have it in quality 2, which is about also distrust or gossip or things like that. So one of the things that's really key for me in following my personal law is that if I'm not following my personal law, there has a tendency for others to distrust me, or to me to distrust others. And it can be very, very painful emotionally. And looking back over my life in some of the most painful times, where I quote unquote suffer the most is emotionally, because both the 55 and the 30 that we took a look at last week, right, are both in my judge and discipline. So that's also, in a sense, where I get punished emotionally. And it can be quite intense. And so it's just something to be aware of. And that's again through quote unquote, for me personally, the punishment, if you will, of not being true to myself. That's where my spirit is provoked. That's where I learn. That's where I need to step up. That's where I really get to the depths of where I'm on track, where I'm off track. And so I can get myself back on track. Yeah. So for both Linda and Shelley, how you're affected when you're connected. So this is the shadow of trait 55, and this is if you don't have trait 55. So this is the lack of ability to release your emotions, and it can also lead to excess as well, especially on the shadow side. So the question is, do you feel emptiness or a lack of meaning in life? And Linda, you were saying earlier, sort of the lack of really being able to feel things at that emotional depth. Do you find yourself eating, drinking, or doing other things in excess to fill that void? Or do you often feel very melancholic? The problem is that you have a fear of emptiness and the inability to release your emotions. And this can lead to an enormous pressure that provokes you into excess, like substance abuse or eating disorders. So patience with yourself and your potential emotional wave is required for your journey to spirit. So again, it is really allowing yourself to be with that melancholy, allowing yourself to be with that emptiness, allowing yourself with, in a sense, not being able to feel the emotions, or feeling too much emotions. It can help then provoke that spirit. So the solution is that you're really designed to work with others who can provoke emotional awareness to get you in touch with and to help you work out your own feelings and your own moods. Right. So in working with others, you can tap into your own feelings and your own moods, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, being able to make sense of it all without trying to stuff it all down by going through any excess. So I'm wondering, Shelley and Linda, if you can see this or how this has shown up for you.
Definitely. Most of my life, this explains a lot. I also only have unconscious connections in my design. The 22 and the 30 are both unconscious for me. So even though I'm emotionally defined, having this pressure of not being able to tap into my emotions and having just unconscious connections, it has been really challenging for me in my lifetime to allow myself to feel. Like the feelings were always so overwhelming. I didn't know what to do with them. I couldn't put words to them. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know where they came from. I spent all my time in my head trying to figure them out, and I wouldn't talk to anybody about it. Anybody trying to get them out of me, I was silent. I couldn't talk because I didn't know how to describe what was going on. And definitely not substance abuse, but food was my comfort. And the 39, I know, is emotional eating as well. So when I was younger, I did a lot of emotional eating. Finding out about this and Bg5 and, oh man, so many of the other things that I learned about myself through Bg5 have completely allowed me to totally release all of that and just really sink into who I am. And now, and I mean, it's taken, I've been sort of working my way towards this for most of my life. I've been through every diet you can think of, healthy diets, but trying to find a way to eat that, and then to find out that most of it's to do with, not being able to talk about how I'm feeling about things, was a huge, huge release of a whole lot of traumatic baggage that allowed me to just go, oh, no, if you just kind of And my husband helped me a lot. He would be the one who could see that I was feeling something, and he would try to tease it out of me. I haven't looked to see if he has the 55, but could see that I was struggling with something and would help me find words for it. But being an independent person, I was trying to do it all by myself. And then until I kind of started to learn this and started to talk about it and feel it out, it's gotten so much easier now. And I have a really comfortable, happy relationship with food now.
Yeah.
I eat what my body tells me to eat, and it feels so good. And
Yeah.
I've managed my weight for the first time in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Shelley. Yeah. How about for you, Linda?
Oh, yes. Emotions. My emotional intelligence is open. My mom is a quadruple split. She has everything defined. So emotional intelligence as well. So I was really, in kind of not knowing what to do with her emotions, let alone my emotions. So that was kind of a struggle. So when I was young, I think 15, I almost developed an eating disorder. I did not want to eat anymore. My body was changing. I was a young adult. So that was, and I always have had problems with really showing my emotions. And just for you have, I don't know if you know them, but from those workshops that you really have to be really angry or had it all out, I feel like I'm never going to do that. It's like a nightmare to really, because people that are so passionate, that are or can be really angry or can be really, I don't know, everything, or like in a dance, like the more South American dances, tango and those things, I'm not good at letting myself go into an emotion. So that's what I sometimes feel I lack. Like I'm really cold kind of, but I don't feel that way. But sometimes I feel that I miss that. And I never, because of my mom, I never developed an eating disorder. Fortunately, I also eat what my body is telling me to eat. And I had to provoke my mom to assure her that she could trust me in that I'm eating just the way I want to, because still to this day, are you eating enough? Yeah, Mom, I'm eating enough. Really trust me. But it's just seeing this, I really, can sense that, working through my emotions and also through the 36 of crisis, that's also the path that I've been on. Yeah, it has brought me to great melancholic periods in my life, because I was hit by a car in a car accident. I was hospitalized. So in those times, I have found my spirit. And that has changed me completely. And that's so wonderful to notice that. And then I also was able to be more comfortable with my own emotions, because they were fully present. I could not hide them anymore. So I feel like that's why I love trait 55, even though I do not have it, but I feel like I have become wise in not having it, because it's a huge shadow, but I have learned my lessons there.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel with having the 39 but not having the 55.
Yeah. And two really beautiful examples of, having the 39, not having the 55, and having emotional intelligence undefined, right? So having the 39, having emotional intelligence undefined, as Linda just described. And also with Shelley, As we take a look at Shelley's design, she does have the 39. She also has emotional intelligence defined, right? And it has a slightly different effect as well. I know for myself also having the 55, you know, emotional eating has been a thing, you know, that I've had to work through as well. You know, still sometimes when I get, you know, kind of emotionally riled, it's eating that helps me calm it down as well. Yeah. All right. Anyone, again, anyone here live in our Zoom room have the 55 or potentially have the 39 and not the 55? Anyone who would like to share, we'd love to hear from you, or anyone in our Facebook Live, if you want to type something in, you can do that as well. All right. As we continue through, let's take a look at today's quality. So we took a look at the shadow. Today's quality is quality 5, which is growth. Whenever we take a look at quality 5 is the messenger. So the elevation is the emotional strength and spirit derived from positions of power. Now, this is the unusual ability in the position of power to accept advice and transform it innovatively, right? So taking advice, taking in things, as opposed to, in a sense, being in charge of everything, being able to take in the suggestions of others. And it's the gift in a position of power allows one to continue to lead rather than perceived as being led. So again, you can take in suggestions from others and yet at the same time retain that power. Now, one of the things that's interesting, if we take a look at the trait today, we can see that there's a little arrow pointing down. That arrow pointing down means that it's fixed, and it's fixed in the challenge. So what we may experience today is an emotional openness where the spirit is at risk from conditioning. So it's an integrative openness that in its broad acceptance of advice may be eventually eclipsed. So meaning that in a sense, you take the advice, but in a sense are not able to retain the power because you're taking in all the advice from others, but not really stepping up and in a sense being conditioned by others. So following the advice of others rather than standing in your own power. So I'd love to hear from Shelley and Linda, if there's anything that you also see in this as well.
What immediately comes to mind is the projection, because it's quality 5 of the messenger. I feel this is all about expectations about yourself, but also from other people. Because if you are in a position of power, people see that your spirit, your being is capable of leading. And I feel if you are really in tune with yourself, then leading is serving at the same time. So then you also accept advice and you are able to be the messenger literally as a leader. That's really what I sense. And then you grow because you, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel then you will grow as a person when you are able to be humble and to be of service. And then you are, you feel like progress, things are happening. But at the other time, the challenge that we also can experience is that it can be a risk from conditioning, that you maybe things are projected on you, that you are going to believe maybe that things are not that great, so that the cup is half empty, and that you are drifting away from your true spirit, and that you don't believe in yourself anymore because of projections, because of things that are being said. Because I also feel the what people can tell you or can say to you, it can really affect your emotions. And then it can trigger your mood going down. And then it triggers negative thoughts from all things that are open in your design. And then, yeah, then things are really a struggle.
Yeah.
And then you become emotional, and then people say, what's going on? And you are our leader. You have to be firm. You have to lead us the way. But if you are really emotional, people say, oh, I don't know. So yeah, I feel like then you are not aligned anymore with your true spirit.
Yep. Yeah. Beautifully said, Linda. Anything, Shelley, you'd like to add?
Yeah, I love that, Linda, because I was just recognizing that this was happening to me today already in the work I was doing. I was starting to feel like I wasn't sure of myself where I had been sure of it just moments before. So the way you described that was beautiful, because you described the entire wave, the feeling the positive strength in it all, and then falling down into, and I feel like it just kind of does that all day long. When it's a day like today, you can go through that entire wave over and over again, and being aware that it's happening and that it's not you necessarily. You haven't lost yourself. You haven't given up all your power. You're just floating on the wave today. And it's about being aware that you're on that wave, and to not get too caught up in either end of it, to just recognize it's happening and reconnect with your own decision-making strategy, to know what's correct to do, but to be aware you're on a little bit of a ride today.
Yeah.
Kind of what came for me.
Yeah, beautifully said, Shelley. Thank you so much. Beautiful. And then let's take a look at our celebrity and the life work theme. So our celebrity is Dakota Fanning, and her life work theme is spirit. And you seek and find both spirit and great pleasure in life through creativity, good food, and sexual companionship. And so this is the life work theme. If we take a look at Dakota Fanning, she's been in a lot of movies, and she rose to prominence at the age of 7 for her performance as Lucy Dawson in the drama film I Am Sam. And she received a Screen Actors Guild Award, nominated at the age of 8, making her the youngest nominee in SAG history. And she's played in as a child actress in Cat in the Hat, Man on Fire, War of the Worlds, The Dreamer, Charlotte's Web. She's been Jane in the Twilight Saga. She's been in Ocean's 8 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, along with many other films as well. So again, you can also see that she also has it in the challenge as well. So this potential also to be conditioned as well. I don't know if there's anything, Linda or Shelley, you would like to add, or if you're familiar with Dakota Fanning at all.
I haven't actually. I don't think I would have recognized her. I watched her when she was quite young, and she's a very gifted actress for sure. But I didn't recognize this picture of her, so obviously I haven't seen her in anything recent. So, but yes, amazing that someone so young can know who they are and be able to live their spirit, and be recognized for being themselves at such a young age. I find that's fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you, Shelley. Beautiful. All right. Well, as we're going to wrap things up here in just a moment. So if both of you would like to ponder what you would like to leave people with for today, and pondering what the spirit and abundance of spirit is all about. Again, if you want to find out, and if you're new to BG5 and want to find out, do I have trait 55 or do I have trait 39 on the other side? You can download your free chart at the bg5businessinstitute.com. and you can follow along with the BG5 lives. You can, again, every Tuesday we have our BG5 live. You can also follow along with BG5 live. You can see what the trait of the day is. So as each day passes, you can see what the different qualities are. You can also watch past episodes in our free resource library as well as on YouTube. And classes are open and ready for registration in May. So we have several May courses that are coming up. I'm going to be teaching the Bg5 Foundation Course. I don't often teach the Foundation Course. I usually teach more of the advanced courses. So if you are interested in jumping in, finding out what Bg5 is all about, getting started in potentially becoming a Bg5 consultant, the Bg5 Foundation Course is a great place to start. So invite you to become a part of the Bg5 Foundation Course. We also have a Bg5 certification course starting. If you do have the foundation, either the Bg5 Foundation or Human Design Foundation courses, you can start there. And we have the advanced certification. If you have already become a certified consultant, we have the Profit Potential Coaching certification that Linda's going to be teaching starting in May as well. So we have a lot of great courses coming up. Also courses in different languages as well. So we offer courses in Chinese and in Italian and in German and in Spanish and in Japanese and in, what am I missing? I know I'm missing something. Bulgarian.
Dutch.
What's that?
Dutch.
And
And
Dutch,
Dutch.
yes. So we offer the courses in a lot of different languages. So if English is not your first language, again, there's other languages to choose from as well. And so we have several courses upcoming. All right, let's wrap everything up. And what I would love to hear both from Shelley and Linda is what are things that people should pay attention to, especially over these next couple of days as we are still in this abundance of spirit in trait number 55. Linda, would you like to start?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that it's really important to accept that life is what it is, that you may feel more emotional, especially when you have emotional intelligence undefined. What I also noticed myself already is that I really feel that I want to be more in a connection with my friends and family. I feel like people whose spirit I love, I want to be around. So maybe you will notice that as well. Yeah, and I feel like there is an invitation here to be in a deeper connection and in deeper emotional connection with life, and in accepting life and what it brings, because it has its ups and downs and everything has a purpose. Because maybe the deepest downs, and that's what I experienced myself, so just to give you some validation and some support in that, can bring forward the most beautiful, well, songs that I spoke about, or insights, or maybe career paths, etc. Because the deepest valleys, the deepest lows in my life has brought me to this path. So if your true spirit, it will be teased out. That's what I sense. And especially in the transition to the new era of the individual, that's what we are heading towards. Trust the process and follow your decision-making strategy and feel your way through the waves and enjoy what will unfold. So.
Love it. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Linda. And how about for you, Shelley?
Yeah, there's just more of what Linda said. I sort of feel that too, that this is a really great opportunity to start to tap into your emotional awareness. And if you're someone who's been conditioned or not typically been really in touch with your feelings, to give yourself a little bit of time and space to start just noticing what you feel in your body, even like it can really make it a physical thing so that you don't get wrapped up in it in your head, is as things happen, just allow yourself to feel what you feel. And our normal response is to react really quickly and try to shut it down or defend ourselves against it or push it away. I would challenge you to just let go and let yourself feel it. And even if it's really uncomfortable and there's fear involved and you're not sure how it's going to turn out, like Linda said, just trust that process, because I too have experienced some of my saddest moments or most anxious moments, or the deepest dives I took, helped me find myself, helped me find who my true spirit, who I really am, and allowed me to come out. And once you experience that, it's like, why was I holding back for so long? Why was I avoiding this? And it's only because we start to feel something and we're afraid of it, or we've been conditioned to think there's something wrong with feeling, and there's not. And this is an era we're moving into where our emotional awareness is going to become more and more prominent. And as we move more and more towards the individual, we need to know who we really are. And honestly, when you get past that first depth of allowing the emotions out, Linda was one of those who went to one of those classes that it was really hard for me to get really angry. I had to get really provoked over and over and over again by a lot of people who had open emotional and could tell I was feeling something, and I didn't know it myself. And they really helped me get in touch with my feelings and express them for the first time in my life. And it was so cathartic. It just remapped my entire nervous system and flushed out a whole bunch of old, awful, uncomfortable feelings that I was carrying around my entire life that are now gone. My energy's lightened up. It's much easier to feel the feelings now. It gets lighter. It gets easier to process them. But that taking that first step of allowing yourself to really let yourself feel and not be afraid of it, or embarrassed by it or concerned about it. Just let yourself feel and be human. It's a very human thing. It's about time we get to be human beings.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that, Shelley. Yeah. Really, really beautifully said. Yeah. And it really is taking a look at and just paying attention to, are you seeing the world half empty? Are you seeing it half full? Are you seeing the joy of all of it, right? Both the ups and the downs. And remember, it takes time, right? So don't get caught up or stuck, as Shelley was talking about earlier, not getting stuck in the moment, but allowing things just like a river to continue to flow, knowing that those ups and downs are always there.
You just reminded me of one more thing, Karen, that I learned in that process, was that if you can't allow yourself to feel the depth of sorrow, the depth of pain, the depth of what we call the bad or the uncomfortable emotions, and really they're just uncomfortable, there's nothing bad about them, we also limit our ability to feel joy, because you end up limiting the cycle of the down to the up to this neutral place where you don't really feel anything one way or the other. And that's not experiencing life, as Linda keeps pointing out. Life's trying to live through us and allow us to experience it. And we are the mechanism, the expression of life through our emotions. And so that was something that really helped me realize, oh, okay, I need to stop being afraid to feel sad so that I can feel more joy.
Yeah, beautifully, beautifully said. I love it. Yeah, so feel. I think that's the biggest takeaway here is allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to see things half empty, half full, see the joy of all that is and the sorrow of all that is as well. And remember, it's that melancholy that brings forth the depth of your creativity, right? They say necessity is the mother of invention, right? So it's kind of like when we're down in the dumps, that's the place where it feels like there's something missing, that something that we need, something that can also be the most creative time as well. So allow that creativity, that originality, that tapping into your spirit, allow that to also happen as well. All right, it has been amazing. Again, enjoy your Tuesday, and we will see you all next week. Thank you so much, everyone, and goodbye for now. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.